Welcome back everyone! I got a great one for you. Today's going to be a GM build that I recommend to most good players. But for anybody, normal people that aren't that good at PvE, I would recommend this for master content like 20 under. Even though Woven Mail is pretty broken, this is an insanely risky build that I think only the best people will be able to master. This build took me a bit to completely figure out how I was going to put this together. But I figured out that you didn't really need that much discipline, and I could run 100 strength to get that background melee charging all the time. Because Woven Mail gives you actually, on the Titan, faster melee. So we're going to be recharging that in the back, while most of our mods are based on getting our grapple faster. This concept really made it ability to spam our normal melee. And then if we didn't have our normal melee, we could use our grapple, and then get our normal melee back and our grapple back. It is a pretty insane build, and I can't wait to show this to you. I was attempting to solo the Master Mars Battleground, or GM Mars Battlegrounds. Of course I couldn't do it because it's like almost impossible, but I got the first section done, and it was quite a nice build, and even though it took a bunch of risk, and I had to go through a bunch of weird mechanics and stuff with the Axion darts, it was still very useful because of how good Woven Mail is and how much melee damage this build does. In Master content, this build can like 3-tap Overload champions, like in the Master Dungeon I was testing it out with. Let's say I grapple over there, hit him with the grapple melee, and then hit 2 or 3 melees on the Master Champion, they'll go down instantly if you have the Syntheseps on, like this build does. This build is just so good, and I can't wait to get into what we're using in the subclass. It means so much that you guys stop by, so let's get into what we're using in this subclass. Here you go, guys! Okay, guys, for our subclass, we're running Grapple with Rally Barricade. We are running Frenzy Blade, which this is a main part of this build because it's going to sever enemies, and we have a ton of melees. We have 100 strength on this build, and that's going to be like a 52-second charge rate, but plus the Into the Fray is going to really increase that time. I know it's like under 20 seconds, but I don't really know how fast it is. It is very noticeable, and I'm getting tons of melee abilities in this video. And with our Suspend Barricade, this is going to help in close range anti-unstop champions. Very useful part of this build. In the future, I could think about switching it out if there's any new aspects that they add in, but for now, that's all we have. And next, we have Threat of Warding, which is going to be another main part of this build. When we're getting those orbs from our melee kills, we're going to be getting the Woven Mail, which is going to give us more melee energy. And then we have Threat of Fury, which hitting the tangles. Most of our melee ability, our grapple, and our barricade are all going to be helping us to get as many tangles as possible. This is going to get us tons of melee energy when we hit one of our tangle balls on enemies. And the more enemies you hit, the more you get. So in some cases, you can get over 1 melee charge and lead to getting a ton more melee energy in total. And then lastly, we are using the Thread of Generation, one of the best fragments right now, with dealing damage gives grenade energy. So this is from our melee, from our weapons, from anything we do. We're constantly getting our grapple back because of how good this is. With the fast grapple cooldown, we don't even need to run 100 discipline, and it's just so good. It also unravels them and does a bunch of good damage. And with our Syntheseps, it's going to stack and do some crazy damage. And for some mods, we all kind of focused on getting back your grapple because we do have 100 strength. So in the background, we're going to be getting a lot of melee energy, but we really need to feel that grapple to keep it going. And let's get on to the mods that will help out to get to there. Okay guys, for these mods, we're using an orb spawner, 1 grenade kickstarter, and impact induction. So basically we're going to be creating an orb with our melee spawner and then using that to get extra stacks for our grenade kickstarter, and we're going to be getting a lot of melee kills other than just a grapple. So our grapple will start us out with 1 charge, and then we'll use our other melees to get the other 2 charges if we want to get the 3 charge full stack to get a good amount of our grenade back. And then in the background of this, on our boots, we're going to be, whenever we pick up those orbs, because we're getting a ton of melee kills, we're going to be getting melee energy, health, and grenade energy from just getting orbs, which will be always spawning. We'll also be getting the Woven Mail from the previously explained fragment. And with impact induction, we're going to be getting those melee damages all the time with our grapple melee and our normal melee. So we're going to be getting even more grenade energy to cycle back. And then we're on our class for some extra needed assistance if we kind of run out or mess up our setup. We can just pop it and get a bunch of melee energy back and some grapple energy back with our bomber and outreach mods on our class ability. The other mods are really your choice. For the helmet, you could do some extra melee energy proccing things like the melee super gainer or any finders for heavy or anything. I was using some heavy finders and stuff and special finders because we were using blinding nade launcher, so I kind of wanted to always have blinding nades ready because in GMs you're really going to want that because a lot of enemies are hard to get close up to, and that will really ensure your protection if you don't do your build properly and if you just need to sneak up on some enemies. That's really it for the mods. Quite a simple setup, and I really appreciate you guys getting through this video, and you guys being on my channel just means so much. So I can't wait to get into some rest of this gameplay. We got some solo GM content. This was quite a hard gameplay to get because of how hard the Mars Battleground is. So I really hope you guys enjoy, really hope you guys learn something, and hope you adapt this playstyle because it's very energetic, very fun, very entertaining. You're really up in the enemy's faces, and it's very risky, but if you pull it off, you get some great reward in the end. Before I go, guys, it would just mean so much to me if you left a like, and if you guys are new, please leave a subscribe, and I really hope you guys come back to my channel again because I'm going to keep posting these great builds. I'm definitely going to post some more weapon-based and other kinds of format of content, but I've just had some great GM builds to post because GMs kind of just came out like a week ago. So it just means a lot that you guys stop by. And let's get on to the rest of the video. Here you go, guys.